Yes, we can finally auto-clear Castle Rush Nightmare!
7k dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at Mythical Awakened Shane and Awakened Ariel's remix, but through Castle Rush Nightmare mode. So you guys already saw my score earlier on. That was my first run, which means there's a lot of potential to go higher, and since auto clear is available once you hit 500,000, your guild can most likely get the Ash rank chest every day. And these are my masteries for Castle Rush, so you can follow them. So we're gonna start the run. This is my team. I'm using Shane as the DPS, Ariel, Rachel, Eileene, and Hayoung. First off will be to cast random skills. But of course over here Dellons actually reduces your HP to 1 and silences, so I'm gonna heal up. If not, there's no way to continue on with the run. You realize that the heal doesn't do too much healing, okay, but don't worry, it's a turn-based heal, so they will get back their full HP after a while. And unfortunately the Willful Ring procced on my Rachel because she was targeted, but I can't do anything about that. So try to use random skills until you see Rook cast his shield again, then you can remove it and start casting your debuffs. First off is using Rachel's Phoenix, and then I actually casted Hayoung's top skill after that. Hayoung's top skill here reduces the magic attack and physical attack of the enemies, so this lets you take far less damage.
Cease to exist. Meet your
The pure light, please give us power.
Another thing about Ariel here is that she is able to taunt the front line, and her remake actually lets her taunt the enemy with the highest defense, and that will tend to be Rook. So getting rid of Rook now is much easier and it's not random anymore, so that is a really good remake on her part. And she also no longer has a Castle Rush specialist tag to her, so all her effects are applicable in all modes. And you'll see that her Awakened skill is actually ready, and it increases your block rate of your allies and decreases the block rate of your enemies by 40% each for 8 turns. So it's very strong. However, I would strongly recommend you only use this after Rook has died. And this was previously also a Castle Rush only effect, but now it is completely removed and you can use it in every mode. As for Shane herself, she no longer buffs her own lethal rate by 30%, so you have to rely on other means, and I will show you guys later during the hero build section. She now boosts her lethal damage by 20%, which means she won't stack with Rachel's Awakened passive, okay, for that part. And she also increases her crit rate by 10% each turn. So as you can see over here, it's already turn 14, and turns go by very fast, and you realize that the whole of the front part was just about setting up and waiting for time to pass before the shields get removed. So it really doesn't matter that you only get 10% per turn. And you see that I also have Eileene on the field. Eileene buffs crit rate for all allies by 20%. So stacked on with Shane's basic 10%, she already has a 30% base. So all you need is 7 turns for her to reach 100% crit rate. She doesn't get any changes in her skills, but for her effect attack, she actually reduces block rate of the enemy by 40%. So this is very useful because, as you know, Shane has 100% effect attack rate. So she will always be reducing block rate on the enemy if she uses her effect attack, if she counters, if she does her basic attack. So this helps in so many modes, especially Heavenly Stairs and Guild Dungeon, because you no longer have to fear that your enemy is going to, block against your very strong damage. And over here you saw if the lethal and crit happens, I hit Dellons for about 39,000. I'm not sure if it can go higher, maybe it could, okay, but 39,000 so far is the max I've seen, and you just have to accumulate and keep going for that amount. Hopefully he doesn't block your damage from Shane. So yeah, I feel that both their remakes are very useful, especially in Castle Rush. I'm not too sure if they are catered to Castle Rush or it's just a general feel, because I was expecting Shane to get an AoE skill, but apparently not. So that means she won't be as efficient as currently players are using Milia in Heavenly Stairs. So she will still be used in Castle Rush and Guild Raid and Guild Dungeon, all these modes where Shane can truly shine. So it's been 5 minutes, 4 minutes actually, 6 minutes passed in the match. So now we have 4 minutes left. So Castle Rush is definitely pretty long, but look, you won't die, okay, as long as you keep up the healing. And you see that my heroes are still alive. This is the damage when Dellons blocks my attack, about 27,000, so it's about 12,000 reduction. Doesn't look like a lot, okay, doesn't look like a lot, but still, it is some drop, which kind of sucks. So just keep your eye on Dellons' debuffs, the blue icons below his skills. You have to make sure that you continuously recast Phoenix onto him, otherwise you won't be doing damage at all. And you can also cast the debuff from Hayoung's top skill, which reduces his physical attack. This will let you take far less damage. I'm not too sure how much more damage he will deal if I didn't cast that debuff, so you can test that out. Good luck with that. I'm very glad that he likes to target Ariel though. So yeah, as you saw way before when I was talking about their skill sets, I've already used Ariel's Awaken skill, and I think I used it after Chancellor is gone as well. It's because Chancellor was already targeted with the block rate reduction from Shane's effect attack. So in the end I only used it against Dellons, and you can do that as well. Just make sure that you don't cast any of these buffs, one-time buffs, when Rook is up, because Rook can easily cleanse it with his shield and then it will all be gone. And when that happens, I'm just gonna reiterate, if Rook does cast his shield for the second time again before he dies, you have to remove it again and cast the Phoenix debuff, as well as, you know, maybe even the Hayoung top skill debuff, because his shield will cleanse all the debuffs on him and Chancellor. So you have to redo that, and you may also need to taunt again so that Shane will target him. And during this match, you see that I did not bring Ares. Ares is also a Castle Rush specialist. However, the only problem with her is that if she gets reduced 1 HP, there's a very high likelihood of her being targeted by Dellons or Rook or Chancellor, and especially if the opening part, if she gets reduced to 1 HP and then the next step, Dellons comes in with the single target, she's most probably dead. Because as you know, the heal isn't much. So that's something you can think about if you want to bring her or not, or you can bring Eileene for a physical attack buff. Both Rachel and Eileene can revive too, so not a big loss if they die. And don't forget one more thing, to bring a friend support. I always forget to bring a friend support. So that is something you can try to remember, and you know, hopefully if one of your units fall, you at least have a spare there for you in order to hit that score you need. And over here, I've already passed that 500,000 I mean, to auto clear Castle Rush, and it's a pretty good score. So this video is going to officially replace the previous Dellons video which I did, which I was still using the tank team's kind of reflect meta for Castle Rush. So there's no longer a need for that team. We will all use Shane from now. So I'm going to go through my hero builds. This is my build for Shane, double lethal. So with her crit rate passive increase now, you really just have to use lethal on her. There's no need for one crit weapon and one lethal weapon, which is really good because it really streamlines everything, even for new players. So with regards to Shane's lethal, she has 78% here because of the weapons and the trait. You also have to take into consideration the 10% from Masteries, which is 88% in total, and then another 20% from Rachel's Awaken passive. So that's 108%, which means she will have more than 100% lethal, and that's how you get it. So double lethal counter, because she's the only one that's countering, and she can reduce the block rate of the enemy, so that's very useful. You should give her counter, and that's also another reason why Ares isn't used, I guess. So PvE jewels, very standard, just follow them. And for her accessory, I've given her Willful Ring and the lethal rate accessory. Willful Ring is because of all the fixed damage coming from the front line, the Rook and the Chancellor, so you don't want Shane to die too early. And then I have Silence Resist because Dellons does cast the Silence on 3 targets. She may or may not be one of the targets, so just in case she is one of the targets. And basically increase lethal rate on traits and also increase damage on offensive heroes. For Fighter Soul, grade 3, I think, increase damage on offensive and then physical attack increase, and also single target increase and skill cooldown. Okay, all these these are very important. I've actually given her the HP boost, which is on grade 7, but you don't have to care about that. You can give her something else. There isn't anything that's more beneficial, I guess, right now. So yeah, that's just for your reference. Next we have Hayoung. You see that I've given her double crit weapons, okay? Max HP, PvE max HP, that gives her a HP shield every turn, so it keeps her alive very well. PvE defense, skill cooldown, and physical magic attack increase. All these are to boost her healing. And also Willful Ring with a hide so that she doesn't get targeted on the first turn and die quickly. And I also have Silence Resist, because Silence Resist is super important on her. You really need her to be healing. If she gets silenced for too long and you cannot heal in time, then you're pretty much dead. And besides that, everything is very defensive. Of course my traits can be better, but I want to save on Topaz. You can give her decreased damage received from offensive heroes. Next we have Eileene. My Eileene is given PvP weapons. You don't have to do that at all. You don't need to. And then PvE armor, definitely a must. And for her duels, very defensive kind of duels. She mainly still has kind of a PvP setup to her, so I didn't really change from there. I just used it conveniently. Willful Ring is a must as well. You want to keep her alive for the physical attack buff. And beyond that, nothing too crazy. You don't even need Silence Resist on her. Rachel, okay, you see that I've given her a very block-based setup. Block armor, block jewel, and then for her Willful Ring, she also has a decreased damage for 4 to 5 targets, which Dellons doesn't have, but it can reduce the damage from Chancellor and Rook. Silence Resist, because you want to be casting a Phoenix, so you don't want her to be silenced and then you cannot cast the debuff on time. And finally for Ariel, double HP, also the HP armor gives her a HP shield every turn, so it keeps her well and alive. Very defensive kind of duels. Willful Ring, same thing, and you also want the Silence Resist so that you can continuously remove shields when Rook is around. After Rook dies, actually Ariel's rogue falls a lot, and that's because you don't have to be removing shields anymore. You don't have to be taunting heroes anymore. So Ariel is just there to support you for the defeat of Rook and Chancellor. Beyond that, nothing too much. Okay? And basically that's all I have for Castle Rush. All in all, I think Shane and Ariel are remade really well for Castle Rush, and maybe other PvE modes which I haven't tried yet. So maybe you guys can try and let me know how it goes in the comments. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much and see you.